Rich Man Learns Generosity. There was a wealthy man named Edward. He was born into a family of privilege and had never known a day of hardship in his life. He grew up with all the luxuries that money could buy and never had to worry about his next meal or where he would sleep. As he grew older, Edward inherited his family's wealth and continued to live a life of luxury. He traveled the world, stayed in the finest hotels, and ate at the best restaurants. He thought he had it all, and never considered that life could be any different. One day, while on a trip to a developing country, Edward was shocked by the poverty he saw around him. He saw people living in shacks with no running water or electricity, and children begging on the streets for food. He couldn't believe that this was the reality for so many people in the world. As he walked around the city, Edward saw a man sitting on the side of the road, holding out his hand and asking for money. He recognized the man as someone he had seen earlier that day, wearing a suit and carrying a briefcase. He was surprised to see him begging on the street. Edward approached the man and asked him what had happened. The man explained that he had lost his job and had no way to support himself or his family. He had been forced to sell his belongings to survive and was now reduced to begging on the streets. Edward was taken aback by the man's story. He had never had to worry about money or his next meal, and he couldn't imagine what it would be like to lose everything. He felt a pang of guilt for his privileged life and wanted to help the man in some way. Edward took out his wallet and gave the man some money. As he walked away, he couldn't shake the feeling that he needed to do more. He knew that he had the power to make a difference in the man's life and decided to take action. Edward went back to his hotel and spent the rest of the night thinking about what he could do to help. He realized that he had connections and resources that the man on the street did not. He decided to use his wealth and influence to help the man get back on his feet. The next day, Edward went back to the man and offered him a job. He explained that he owned a company and was in need of a new employee. The man was hesitant at first, but Edward convinced him that this was an opportunity he couldn't pass up. Edward took the man under his wing and taught him everything he knew about business. He helped him get back on his feet and provided him with the resources he needed to start his own company. The man worked hard and was eventually able to build a successful business of his own. Years went by, and Edward watched as the man he had helped grew into a successful entrepreneur. He felt a sense of pride in what he had been able to do and knew that he had made a difference in someone's life. As he looked back on his own life, Edward realized that he had been living in a bubble. He had never considered the struggles that other people faced and had taken his own privilege for granted. He was grateful for the experience of meeting the man on the street and for the opportunity to help him. Edward's experience taught him that money and material possessions are not everything. He learned that there is more to life than just personal wealth and success. He learned that helping others can be one of the most rewarding experiences and that true happiness comes from making a positive impact on the world. Please don't forget to subscribe my channel.